Dr. Marcus Cole says getting weaker after 50 is not normal aging. It is a warning sign that your body is losing the signals it needs to stay strong. Maybe your grip feels weaker now. Maybe getting off the couch takes more effort than it used to. Maybe your balance feels less steady every year. Most people accept this as just getting older. But what if that is completely wrong? New research shows that people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s can rebuild muscle, improve balance, and regain strength faster than most doctors ever expected. Tonight, Dr. Marcus Cole reveals the proven habits that help adults over 50 build strength, protect their bones, boost energy, and feel younger again without spending hours in the gym. Part 1. The 3 biggest lies about aging that keep you weak. Let me start with a simple question. If you wanted to design the perfect conditions for frailty, what would they look like? You would tell people that muscle loss is normal and unstoppable. You would tell them they are too old to lift weights. You would tell them that walking is enough to keep them healthy. Now look at what happens every day in senior communities across America. Those lies are repeated constantly, and millions of people believe them. Your body is listening to what you believe. If you believe you are too old to get stronger, your body will prove you right. Here is what nobody tells you about muscle loss. Yes, muscle loss happens naturally as you get older. That fact is technically true, but here's what the research also tells you. The rate of muscle loss is almost entirely under your control. People who stay active and eat enough protein lose muscle very slowly. People who sit on the couch and eat processed food lose muscle like water through a screen door. A study from the University of Pittsburgh followed seniors for over 10 years. The ones who did simple strength training twice per week lost almost no muscle at all. The ones who did nothing lost 40% of their muscle mass over the same period. That is not aging, that is neglect. Here is the second lie that has destroyed more senior bodies than any disease I can name. People say you are too old to start lifting weights. I hear this from people at age 50, age 60, and even age 40. They think strength training is only for young people in gyms with loud music and expensive shoes. The scientific literature is absolutely clear on this point. People in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build significant muscle with proper training. One landmark study had nursing home residents in their 90s start lifting weights. After just 8 weeks, they doubled their leg strength. Some of them stopped using walkers entirely. If a 90-year-old in a nursing home can build muscle, you can certainly build muscle at 50. Here is the third lie that keeps seniors weak and tired. People say that walking is enough to keep you healthy. You walk on your treadmill every morning for 30 minutes. You feel good about yourself, and you should feel good. Walking is wonderful and much better than sitting on the couch. But walking alone will not save your muscles, your bones, or your balance. Walking is a cardiovascular exercise that trains your heart and lungs. It does very little for your muscles, your bones, or your nervous system. After age 50, your bone density drops by about 1% per year if you do nothing. Your muscle mass drops by about 3 to 5% per decade. Walking does not stimulate bone growth or muscle growth in any meaningful way. You need resistance training to send the signal that says, build more bone and more muscle. Cardio is not enough, and it never will be. Part 2. Why your strength is disappearing faster than it should. Now let me explain why this problem gets worse with every decade. It is not your imagination. Your body is changing in ways that make weakness almost inevitable if you do nothing about it. Here is what happens inside your body as you age. Your muscle fibers shrink, especially the fast twitch fibers that are responsible for power and speed. Those are the fibers you use to stand up quickly, to catch yourself when you trip, to lift a heavy bag of groceries. When those fibers shrink, you lose your explosive strength. You do not just feel weaker, you feel slower. You feel unsteady on your feet. You feel like your body is not responding the way it used to. That feeling is real and it has a name. It is called sarcopenia, and it affects almost everyone over 50 who does not strength train. There is a second problem that your doctor may not have mentioned. As you age, your nervous system becomes less efficient at activating your muscles. Your brain sends a signal down your spinal cord to your muscles, telling them to contract. When you were 30, that signal was strong and clear. When you are 60 or 70, that signal gets weaker and slower. Your muscles are not the problem, your nerves are the problem. The connection between your brain and your muscles is deteriorating. The good news is that strength training rebuilds that connection faster than any other activity. There is a third problem that will shock you. As you get older, your body becomes less sensitive to protein. When you were 30, eating 20 grams of protein would trigger a strong muscle-building response. When you are 60, the same 20 grams of protein might trigger only half that response. Your muscles need more protein to get the same effect. That is called anabolic resistance, and it is one of the most important concepts in senior nutrition. If you are eating the same amount of protein you ate at 40, you are probably not eating enough. One study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed over 1,000 seniors who were losing strength rapidly. Those who started strength training twice per week and increased their protein intake reversed their decline within 12 weeks. Some of them regained strength they had lost over 5 years. 12 weeks, that is the difference between declining and thriving. Part 3. Progressive resistance training twice per week. Now for the solution that will change your body starting this week. Progressive resistance training. That is just a fancy way of saying lift things that are heavy enough to challenge you, then slowly lift heavier things over time. You do not need a gym membership or expensive equipment to do this at all. You can start in your living room with your own body weight and a few basic items. Here is what progressive means in practice for someone over 50. On week 1, you do 10 squats holding a 5-pound weight. That feels somewhat hard, but you finish all 10 reps. On week 2, you do 10 squats holding a 5-pound weight again. That feels easier than last week because you are getting stronger. On week 3, you try 10 squats holding an 8-pound weight. That feels hard again like week 1 felt. That is progression. Your body adapts to the stress you give it, so you must increase the stress to keep adapting. If you do the same weight for the same reps every week, you will stop improving. You will maintain, which is better than declining, but you will not get stronger. Here is the minimum effective dose that the research supports for people over 50. Do strength training 2 times per week, not 7 days per week. Your muscles need rest days to actually rebuild and get stronger. Do 6 to 8 different exercises that work your whole entire body. Squats for your legs and glutes. Push-ups or wall pushes for your chest and shoulders. Rows or pull-aparts for your back. Planks for your core. Lunges for your balance. Do 2 to 3 sets of each exercise with rest between sets. Do 8 to 12 repetitions of each movement with good form. When you can easily do 12 reps with perfect form, add more weight or make the movement harder. One study from Tufts University had seniors do this exact protocol for just 16 weeks. The results were astonishing even to the researchers who ran the study. The participants doubled their leg strength on average. Their walking speed increased by 25%. Their balance improved so much that falls decreased by more than half. That is not a pill or a surgery or an expensive supplement. That is just lifting things 2 times per week for a few months. Part 4. High-quality protein at every single meal. You can lift all the weights in the world and you will not build any muscle without enough protein in your diet. Muscle protein synthesis is the process where your body takes amino acids from protein and uses them to repair and build muscle tissue. That process shuts down completely without enough dietary protein coming in. Here is the mistake almost everyone over 50 makes with their protein intake. They eat a small breakfast with almost no protein, like toast and coffee or a bowl of sugary cereal. They eat a moderate lunch with maybe 10 or 15 grams of protein from a sandwich or salad. Then they eat a large dinner with 30 or 40 grams of protein from meat or fish. Their body spends all day in muscle breakdown mode and only gets one short window of muscle building mode at night. That is not efficient. That is not effective. That is why you eat all that protein and still feel weak. The research is very clear on how to fix this problem for people over 50. Your body can only use about 20 to 40 grams of protein per meal for muscle building. Anything beyond that is just burned for energy or stored as body fat. You need to spread your protein intake evenly across 3 or 4 meals every single day. That means 20 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast, another 20 to 30 at lunch, and another 20 to 30 at dinner. What does 20 to 30 grams of protein actually look like on a plate? 3 large eggs have about 18 grams of protein. A cup of full-fat Greek yogurt has about 20 grams. A scoop of quality protein powder has about 25 grams. 4 ounces of chicken breast has about 35 grams. A can of sardines has about 20 grams. A cup of cottage cheese has about 25 grams. A 4-ounce piece of salmon has about 25 grams. A study from the University of Texas followed seniors who switched to this protein distribution pattern. After just 12 weeks, the group eating protein evenly across all 3 meals built 40% more muscle than the group eating the same total protein, but mostly at dinner. 40% more muscle from changing when you eat, not even changing what you eat. That is the power of timing your protein correctly. Part 5. Low-intensity cardio for health, not for fitness. I told you earlier that cardio is not enough by itself to build muscle or bone. That does not mean cardio is useless or bad for you at all. Cardio is absolutely essential for your heart, your lungs, your blood pressure, your mood, and your mental health. But you need to do the right kind of cardio for your age and your specific goals. High-intensity cardio like running or sprinting or high-intensity interval training is very effective for young athletes in their 20s and 30s. For people over 50, high-intensity cardio carries significant risks without much additional benefit. Your joints are not as resilient as they used to be. Your tendons and ligaments take longer to recover from stress. A single high-intensity workout can leave you limping for days and canceling your next strength session. That is not smart. That is not sustainable. That is not how you build long-term health. Low-intensity, steady-state cardio is the sweet spot for people over 50. This means walking at a brisk pace where you can still talk in full sentences without gasping for air. This means riding a stationary bike at a comfortable speed where your legs feel warm but not burning. This means swimming laps or using an elliptical machine at a steady pace. Your heart rate should be elevated, but you should never feel breathless or like you cannot keep going. The science behind low-intensity cardio is fascinating for people over 50. It improves your endothelial function, which is the lining of your blood vessels that controls blood pressure. It lowers your resting heart rate over time, which reduces stress on your heart. It reduces systemic inflammation throughout your entire body, which means less joint pain and faster recovery. It improves your insulin sensitivity so your body handles sugar better and stores less belly fat. And most importantly for people over 50, it causes almost no joint pain or recovery issues at all. How much low-intensity cardio should you actually do each week? The research suggests that 150 minutes per week is the sweet spot for longevity and heart health. That is just 22 minutes per day or a 30-minute walk 5 days per week. You can break it into smaller chunks if that works better for your schedule. A 10-minute walk after each meal adds up to 30 minutes by the end of the day without ever feeling like exercise. Part 6. The 3 foods that make you weaker after 50. You can train perfectly and still feel weak and tired every single day if you are eating the wrong foods. These foods are actively stealing your strength, your energy, and your independence after age 50. The first weakness food is low-fat or fat-free diet products. You buy low-fat yogurt, fat-free cheese, and skim milk because you think fat makes you fat. That belief has destroyed more senior metabolisms than any other nutrition myth in history. When food manufacturers remove fat from products, the food tastes like cardboard and sawdust. So they add sugar, corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, and chemical thickeners to make it edible again. Your body needs dietary fat to build hormones, absorb vitamins, and maintain your cell membranes. After age 50, your hormone production is already declining naturally. Removing fat from your diet makes that decline even faster and more severe. Eat full-fat dairy products instead of low-fat imposters. Cook with butter, olive oil, and coconut oil instead of chemical vegetable oils. The second weakness food is refined grains and white flour products like bread, pasta, crackers, pretzels, bagels, muffins, pancakes, and cereal. These foods are everywhere and they are marketed as healthy and heart-friendly. They are actually making you weaker every single time you eat them. Refined grains spike your blood sugar dramatically within minutes of eating them. That blood sugar spike triggers inflammation throughout your entire body. Inflamed muscles do not repair themselves well after exercise. Inflamed joints hurt more and make you want to move less. Eat sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, beans, lentils, and steel-cut oats instead. The third weakness food is vegetable oils and industrial seed oils like soybean oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, and corn oil. These oils are in almost every processed food, restaurant meal, and bottled dressing. They are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which are highly inflammatory in large amounts. Your body needs a balance of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. The modern diet has about 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3. That imbalance turns on chronic inflammation like a light switch that never turns off. Cook with olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, or ghee instead. Your inflammation will drop and your energy will rise within just 2 weeks. Part 7. Your complete weekly routine for strength after 50. Here is your assignment for this week. Do strength training on Monday and Thursday. On those days, do squats, push-ups, rows, planks, and lunges. Do 2 to 3 sets of each exercise with 8 to 12 repetitions per set. Rest for 1 minute between each set. Eat 20 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. Good sources include eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, fish, cottage cheese, and protein powder. Walk for 30 minutes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Walk at a brisk pace where you can still talk but your heart rate is elevated. Take Sunday as a complete rest day to let your body repair and rebuild. Avoid low-fat diet products, refined grains, and vegetable oils as much as possible. Eat full-fat dairy, whole foods, and cook with olive oil or butter instead. That is it. No complicated meal plans, no expensive gym memberships, no hours of suffering every day. Within 2 weeks, you will feel more energy and less joint pain. Within 1 month, you will notice your clothes fit better and your grip feels stronger. Within 3 months, you will stand taller, walk faster, and get off the couch without using your hands. Your body is not broken, it is just waiting for the right signal. Strength after 50 is not a dream, it is a decision. Start this week. See you in the next video. Peace.